I didn't really want to go back to China. It's been over a decade, and look how much fun that kid had. But somewhere along the way, China became this abstract idea. Polluted, crowded, complicated. Though these are just excuses. I was a scared kid that didn't want to face what had become so unfamiliar. But this time, I needed to face my fears, and more importantly, see someone I had left behind so many years ago. Let's go! Part of how I convinced myself to go is that I got a business class ticket from Japan. With points, of course, I have no money. This is me being literally the first person to board the plane. How cool is that? It was also only a 2-hour ride, but I made absolute sure I got the most out of it. Look at this food. I was in Beijing for a week, and the rest of the week was relatively smooth. I tried to go running a few times and realized there was a constant, forever smog present, conveniently covering just the city. I went out anyways to be a tourist and see palaces in bad weather, but only came back to see my hotel room's temperature was fixed at 31 degrees Celsius. Then I had to decide if I wanted to sleep in a sauna or to open the windows and fill my lungs with toxic gas through the night. One thing that I do have to mention here though is the food. The food is absolutely fantastic. It's also orders of magnitudes cheaper than the US. This is a nice restaurant where I ordered this jjajangmyeon for literally $4. No, that says unlimited refills. Here's me with my grandpa at a few restaurants, each totaling about 15 to 20 US dollars. In New York, that's at most a burrito. After eating my fill everywhere, my trip to Beijing ends here, and a bittersweet last night was presented to me. I finally went on my run, and honestly, it was actually really pretty. I haven't really talked to my grandparents since the last time I went back to China. The language barrier is hard. I was nervous, but I couldn't just go home.
就怕到时候就是见不着面了，你知道吧？对，这很有可能啊。
So I booked my train ticket and left from Beijing to their house in Jidian. This part was pretty cool. China has these super fast rails, literally hitting 300 kilometers an hour, and I almost broke the sound barrier by just sitting there. Look at me traveling quickly. And then, I was there. They are the most wonderful people in the world, but at this point, anyone could see the toll that time had taken. Grandma's pain made it so she never really left the bed. And Grandpa moved with this tired resolve, the weight of caring for her, for the house, visible in every step. I asked Grandma why she didn't want to go to the doctors to get her leg checked out, and all she said is that it's too complicated. I thought to myself, that can't be the only reason, right? You've been struggling and suffering for months. You would want to fix it, right? Eventually I pried it out of her, but what she said made me feel like an absolute idiot.
下次回了我们就死了。
I felt so dumb. Of course you wanted to fix it. No one in their damn right mind would want to suffer like that. I'm lucky enough to never have experienced the death of someone close to me, but this also meant that I never really understood that feeling.
慢慢的，反正能对付活的，差活的算上死了。
到时候你就能出去了。
没有人意外。
That naive optimism I usually carried just shattered. I didn't know what to do. Just blindly encouraging her to live a life she didn't want to live. Eventually, I convinced her to go to the doctors, and soon enough, she was sentenced to 2 weeks in the hospital. All I could do was wait. I was so scared that she would just give up. I wanted her to live a good life. Perhaps as some internal projection, I started running. A lot, every day. Each step on the pavement felt like a prayer to her. I wanted to see her keep going outside, to keep seeing the sun and the rain and everything in between. I wanted to see her smile more at the beauty of what's around her. I wanted to see her feel like the world is worth living in, worth struggling for. Fight for it. The days crawled by as slow as you could imagine. It was lonely too. This will be your house when they die, they said. That thought went into parts of my brain I didn't even know existed. I didn't want the house. Not like that. Two weeks eventually passed, and she soon got back from the hospital. She looked a lot better. She wasn't fully healed, but there's been a lot of progress. Although she says she's not camera ready, I think she's the most beautiful person I've ever met. Grandpa and I go on a celebration dinner and we kind of just eat in silence. I feel like my view on so many things has changed and I don't know what to feel or do or say. Walking back under the night sky, our normally comfortable silence felt heavy with unspoken gratitude and unspoken fears. How do you find the words for this? It wasn't just an issue of a language barrier anymore. No, this was more than that. The next morning, I have to go back to the States. I idly chat with my grandma a bit, not really knowing how to say goodbye. A few simple words, a hug that tried to contain everything left unsaid. Saying goodbye felt inadequate. That day, the Beijing smog felt like a distant memory.
到时候我走了，我也想你们了。我们也会想你。
For the first time in my life, even though I was heading towards America, I felt like I was leaving home. As part of my deathly boredom in those 2 weeks alone, I started to document a bit more of my journey. I learned how to edit in order to tell this story. It made me realize how easily we build walls, language, distance, uncertainty. How easily we can take the people closest to us for granted, assuming that they'll always be there, exactly as we remember them. This trip cracked open that door that I was so afraid of, not to demons, but to connection, to vulnerability, to the messy, heartbreaking, beautiful reality we call family. So maybe find your own door, reach out, have that awkward conversation, because that connection, it's worth everything.
你藏着呀？躲出去。